So linked above is a playthrough for the intro to Guantanamo, and today we're going to have a quick look at the tab and see how to play it. We're also going to have a look at how to get the tone of this great sounding intro. So let's have a look at the tuning and get started. So guys, Guantanamo is actually in D sharp, and the best way to get there is by tuning to open G and then putting a capo on the first fret. As you know, open G from 6 to 1 is D, G, D, G, B, D. That is D, G, D, G, B, D. So once you've tuned up and got the capo on 1, this is just a sort of a normal shub capo. It does kind of put things out a little bit. So once you've tuned up, you probably have to check the tuning again. But you'll have D sharp, G sharp, D sharp again, G sharp, C, and D sharp there on the bottom, giving you open G sharp. Now, one of the things with open G and open G sharp is you have a 5th degree on the bottom, your D or your D sharp in this case. So the song, as I said, is in D sharp. So basically you take advantage of this low D sharp, and then we sort of bass the song up here at the 8th fret. So there's the tuning. We are in D sharp and the tuning is open G sharp. A quick note on the tab here, we're going to be treating the capo as the nut, so it'll be the 0th fret. So we're starting here on the tab, it indicates 7, 9, 7. We're going to be pushing that up to 8, 10, 8. Hopefully that makes sense, and it's just more flexible to tab it this way, I think. So we're going to be starting on the 7, the 9, and the 7 on the 6th string before moving to the 5th string and playing 7. And we're going to be starting on the 3.5 beat. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to be following that up with 3 octave strikes. So from the start. And then we're going to be playing open 4th string and open 5th string. As you know, we're an open G sharp. So this is basically just outlining the 4 chord here. And we're going to play that 2 times. And then we're going into the 2nd phrase. We're going to play 7 on the 6th string. Notice I'm playing this quite hard. I'm sort of digging in with my nail here to get that sort of sound on the record. So again, 7, 7, 9, 6. We're going to 4. You can see that's 4, 7, 9, 9, 7, 0. Open. It's the open D sharp down there. And then we're going to be playing the full chord. And then we go into this sort of altered 4 chord that you might recognize if you've ever listened to any Rolling Stones. Some say that Keith stole this tuning from Rye. Obviously it's a much older tuning, but it kind of makes a lot of sense that he sort of first saw it, I think, in those 69 sessions when Rye flew across. And very soon after, you saw a whole string of open G sort of super hits. So certainly, if not copied, he owes Rye a bit of a favor, I think. But certainly here, Rye's stealing it back. So we're going into, this is bar 7. We're coming out 7 here. And then we're going to be basically just going up on the 2nd and 3rd string from, or basically to 10 and 11. Sounds a little bit like tumbling dice, right? And then we get, so it's just sliding up, sliding back, and then 7, 7, 9, 7, 7, 9 again, and then the 9 comes down onto that D string you'll see there. And then we go down to the 6th string again, 7, 7, 9, 6, 7. You never? Yeah. So you got that. That's the introduction. And that's all there is to say about that. But I'd like to now just sort of go through and outline how I got the sound, like how I tried to get the sound anyway, and sort of have a look at the pedals, and then go into the computer and actually see how I got the sound of the room in post, because I found it quite interesting, and a couple of the plugins kind of sort of nailed it for me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So let's have a look at that now. So I'm using a Fender Princeton set close to 4. I'm using the Captor X as well, so it's a virtual speaker, not a real speaker. It just makes it sort of a bit easier to record that way, and it also means I can turn it up. I mean, to be honest, 4 on a Princeton's actually really kind of a little bit uncomfortably loud. So I can get a little bit of sort of warmth, but not that much. I'm about to sort of turn the pedals off, and you'll see the actual volume. Treble 6.5, bass 5.5, a little bit of reverb, not too much. And you'll notice some slow sort of tremolo there. Now the pedals, let me just sort of play a chord just for reference here. You see the compressor working quite hard. Okay, so this is without. So very, very different. And basically what's happening here is this compressor, you can see the output there, it's actually driving it a little bit. So I go from here. But the mix is only about 15%, so it is sort of giving me a little bit more squash. This is an Ampeg Catalinbread. This is kind of the get your yayas out sound, which I really like. It's got a bit of squish. You can sort of hear that. But I'm sort of on humbuckers here, so it's getting a little bit muddy. So then the ParaEQ just brings back some of that top end. So that's all I've got on the floor there. Not too much, right? Just trying to sort of make it sound sort of like a nice valve amp in the room. Now let's have a look at post, and we'll have a look what the actual room is. So let's drop into the session here, guys, and have a listen to how the guitar came out recorded just from the amp. Okay, so that was okay. And if we compare that to the original recording, we can hear the room as the big difference. Obviously the guitar sounds kind of a little bit similar, but a Rise guitar here, it almost sounds like it's got a sort of a fuzz-like quality. If you can hear that on the individual notes more than the chords. That note there, this one here, that sounds like a fuzz to me. It sounds like there's a fuzz. Obviously it's just the kind of the behavior of the amp, and I didn't get that sound at all. If you can kind of compare there. But the actual chords sound kind of more similar. So if we just sort of scroll across here, this part here, probably a little bit more drive there, isn't there? And I haven't quite got the attack right either. There's kind of more sag on the recording there, and a little bit more sort of high-end sort of plink and attack. But anyway, that's kind of by the by. What I wanted to show you guys here is just this plug-in here, because you can hear the difference here is the room is the difference. It just sounds like it's being played in a fantastic sounding room. You can hear a little bit of the snare there, but my recording here, it just kind of sounds, pretty dead. I do have a little bit of spring reverb, in fact too much to match the original, but just to add a little bit of space around it, but there's no real sense of a room. So let's have a look at this plugin here. This is UAD, they had a sale on recently, and I sort of bought this massive bundle of plugins for not that much money. At Sound City, you may have seen the who's that guy? Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl. He did a documentary, I think, on this, and it's just a great sounding room, and they've captured it really well as they do. They seem to have the technology down to capture space. So so let's just hear it without, and then we'll turn it on. We'll go back to the start, maybe here. So just for reference. You can hear a little bit of the spring, but then bring the room in. Listen to this. And this is kind of just the default what I brought up and just mixed a little bit. And you've got some mics in the room that you can change and mix and match. I mean, it's quite a lot. I mean, I wouldn't bother with most of it, but just the actual, you can hear the room, and there's kind of a wide selection of different things you can sort of access here. I mean, masses of combinations in different places in the studios. And, I mean, it's kind of amazing, but it'll even sound better with that second mic in. So that was the first trick. The second trick was I did a little EQ match on the original, and basically you just play a sample of the original intro, and then Isotope, basically Match EQ, will map out and compare to what you've recorded, and then suggest a fairly detailed EQ curve that you can add a certain amount to. So if we switch that on, you'll be able to hear just a little bit more around 1K, and then around sort of 8, 9, 10K, which is a bit harder to hear, but just a little bit more sort of fizz up top. And you can sort of have the amount. I've only got it at 20%. It's only barely working. If I turn that down to 0, it starts kind of distorting and doing some unpleasant things, but around about 20% just adds just a hint. So that was the second trick, and the third one was listening to the original. Hear that there? You can hear the strings of the guitar. I've got a feeling he was kind of, they just had some mics up in the middle of the room as well as the amp, and they just sort of blended them together. Listen to that first part again. You can hear the strings, right? And I thought, hang on, so I've actually got a recording of this video down here, and it's got some audio with it. So if I get rid of that, I can hear the birds. So I've got that, and I thought, hang on, if I just blend just a touch of that in, I might be able to give that sort of string sound, and which is exactly what I did. So can't hear it. Hear that there? Too much here. But about nothing. About there, you can sort of hear the strings come in, and it kind of sounds like there's a mic in the room. So I'm obviously this is just for the fun of it, but I do enjoy this sort of stuff. So that's how I sort of got the tone, and then I put a obviously just sort of a mastering. Ozone 11 came on there at the end, and just sort of a little bit of low end focus to stop it flabbing out too much, some EQ, and not too much happening there at all, and then just some mild maximization just to bring it up to level, and then there you have it. So just a little peek behind the scenes there in post. So see you on the next one, guys.